Yo, we have another video, and this time I'm reacting to Cappo, and he's reacting to his ban from Colombia. He's explained himself very well in this video, but who's at fault really? And before you start to think and start to put the blame game like, oh, they're trying to get rid of passport bros, you have to realize that if you give them any, if you're on the internet talking about Colombia in a negative way, and he's saying he was promoting Colombia. Yeah, he was promoting a lot of the negative side that they don't want people to know about. We all know it exists, but they don't want people to know about the sex tourism. They want it to be a place you go on holiday for. There are women there, yes, but you shout from the rooftops, hey, this is where you find the women in these clubs. And then you have X amount of followers, you on Instagram, you on YouTube saying this. You are giving them an excuse to find and deport you. And there's even more excuses as well. Let's see what he has to say.
Gustos. I'm with my DJ Black Amigo from Atlanta. I'm in the DJ booth. I'm chilling, minding my business. Just me and my friend May. She's a promoter out there as well. Very famous Afrobeats promoter. We're chilling. Next thing you know, I get a tap on my shoulder from 10 police officers and 10 immigration officers with them. They ask me, are you Cappo? Wow. I say yes. They ask for my ID. I provide my ID. I had a cedula. I had a legal document to live there, but it was expired. And not making any excuses, it was my fault that I let my visa expire. Normally,
he let his visa expire and he just sat down in the country. And he read that and he says, oh, that's my fault. So you gave them an excuse to come for you.
With me and my lawyer, we coordinate 30 days before my license expires. But in this situation, I didn't have the $3,000 laying around at that moment to start all the process and everything that was needed to get the visa like I normally do every year. So it's not like I'm ignorant to the process. I know the process very well.
He's not ignorant to the process. He knows the process very well, but he didn't have the $3,000 laying around. So he knew that he had to pay the $3,000. But for some reason this year, he just never had the money lying around. But previous years he did. So what makes it different that you knew that you had to start the process beforehand, but for some reason this year he's like, oh, but I just don't have the money. I don't have the $3,000 lying around. What are you doing with yourself, Mr. Cappo? What are you doing? A lot of these passport bros, you're in these countries and you think they have like money. They're going from one country to another and you're sitting down there like, man, I'm not in the position to, I have bills to pay. These guys, they look like they're scrimping and saving somehow. They're surviving on bits and little scraps from subscribers and YouTube views and donations. That's what it feels like. It don't feel like these people are securely set up to travel and be in these countries. I'm not saying he's poor. I have nothing against him. I know he has money coming in, but it just seems a bit odd that he didn't prepare himself. I mean, look, I'm gonna be on the side of skepticism, where I've had problems where things just pop up and you have to pay extra money, but I've always known that I have to pay my taxes and you have to have some money spare just in case of emergencies. And also, like, all the people he's been hanging around with, man, then not one of them could have spared him like $3,000 and he paid them back. I mean, I don't have those type of friends. People ask me for money and they disappear. Thousands are just gone, but I can't do it to other people. That's the way the world works. So he might be in my situation where he's lending people thousands. He might have a girlfriend, he giving her a couple grand there. When it came to him, they're like, oh, well, we don't have the money for you, Mr. Cappo. I mean, it could be one of those situations.
I've been staying here since 2022 under legal status. So by no means was I trying to, overstay my welcome, basically. So my lawyer starts the process. My visa expired February 28th. My lawyer starts the process February 26th, which it takes 4 to 8 weeks potentially from the time that
I think he done this to himself as well, because he knew his visa was expiring and he should have started this process a long time ago. By the time he started to do this process, it was way too late.
they start to the time that the visa goes through. And they took me to jail, and they got me to the jail, and they said, okay, you're just gonna pay a fine. At this time now, it's 2 a.m. My lawyer's not answering the phone. They're saying, I don't believe you. I don't believe you have a visa pending. We don't see anything. So I said, okay, no problem. My lawyer will solve it. Mind you, I'm still in my club clothes, everything. I got my jewelry on. And they're like, okay, well, you're gonna spend the night here. And I said, all right, cool, where's the couch? They said, no, you're going in the jail cell. You're going in the jail cell. So they take me to jail. They put me in this room. There's a Dominican guy in there. There's a white guy in there from America. And there's a Venezuelan woman. And we're all kind of in like little isolated areas.
I'm surprised to have a man and a woman in the same jail cell. It could have been a trans woman. But that is weird. I mean, I've never been in a Colombian prison, but normally when you come to prison, you don't really mix up the men and the females at all. They're always separate. But you said there was a Venezuelan woman in there. That's very odd.
Footage of that too. But so the white guy in the cell, he's in there, didn't know it at the time, he's in there for harassing children. He's going from school to school, elementary schools, middle schools. He's dealing with children. He's causing problems. He's trying to fight teachers, parents. He claims that he is scouting baseball. He claims that he's scouting for baseball players. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, I don't know too many Colombian baseball players. I know Dominican baseball players. I know Cuban baseball players. I know Panamanian baseball players. I know Brazilian baseball players. I'm not too familiar with many Colombian baseball players, but if you are looking for that, they do that in Cartagena. What are you doing in Medellin, going around schools looking for children to scout, you know? So his story was already shaky. But anyways, the next morning, my lawyer shows up, my best friend shows up, my girl shows up, everybody's there supporting. My lawyer's like, hey, they want to deport you. And I said, what? And he said, yes. He's like, it's coming from very high, the mayor's office, that they want you gone. They don't want you in the country anymore. And for the life of me, I can't understand what is it that I did that was so offensive. Because again, I've not been arrested. I haven't been put in handcuffs. I haven't been charged with anything.
There's no criminal anything.
There's no criminal anything that's happened to justify in my mind why this is happening to me. So we go through the process. Okay. Initially they said, well, we want to give you an involuntary 10-year ban off rip. That's what they wanted off rip. The immigration officer pulls my lawyer to the side and says, let me talk to you. My lawyer gives me the look, okay, let's go talk.
Yeah.
He comes back to me and says, for 4 million pesos, you'll get a voluntary 2-year ban. 4 million pesos is $1,000 US equivalent, roughly or so. So I said, damn, $1,000 just to still get banned is kind of steep. Can't I just pay a fine for overstaying?
Right.
They weren't interested in that. The mayor had already made the call.
Yeah, it had to happen.
Cappo is gone. He's out of here. And the reason why I had to go is because my social media. My social media was causing a lot of problems. It was providing a lot of negative press under his leadership and his tenure in office because his failure to find the killers of the American Airlines flight attendant who was in Colombia on work. He wasn't there chasing women.
Okay, I had enough of this guy. Because he sat down there like, I don't know why they wanted to deport me so badly. And then he's like, yeah, it's my social media. It's like, there you have it. You answered your own question. It was the social media. It was your YouTube. It's your Instagram. It was providing negative press for Colombia. And they wanted an excuse to get rid of you. And that visa, if you knew what you was doing on social media was upsetting them, and he does know it was upsetting them because he was doing a lot of videos about some of the negative side of Colombia. He also has had some positive. And he has some videos of how to stay safe, how to not get scoped. He had videos of how to skirt around certain laws. And you know that he was doing that. Why did you allow your visa to expire? That gave them an excuse to come down on him hard. And that's what they did. They came down on this guy hard. Super hard. To the point now that he's been banned for like 5 years. Whose fault is that? That's his fault. They do watch social media and they don't want negative press. And they made an example out of him. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I'm out.